You were born in innocence like Adam, untouched by the world, a presence unmarked by ego, a consciousness flowing naturally without separation or judgment. In the beginning, there was no I and you, no right and wrong, no future or past, only the seamless unity of existence. Every newborn begins in Eden, not a place outside, but a state of pure awareness, a reflection of the divine that precedes thought. Curiosity arises, and with it, the stirrings of perception, like Eve awakening to the first light of consciousness. This is the emergence of choice, of desire, of differentiation. The first flickers of the mind saying, I am separate, I want, I notice. And then comes the serpent, subtle and enigmatic, the symbol of the ego's awakening, the sense of selfhood that measures desires and fears. Eating the fruit, a metaphor for grasping the knowledge of duality, marks the descent from unconscious unity into the world of form. Self and other good and bad, pride and shame, love and fear, these polarities arise, and the being who once moved in seamless presence now steps into a realm of contrast, of society, of conditioning. To be cast out of Eden is not a punishment. It is the necessity of awakening, the unfolding of consciousness through experience. Life in form is the realm of testing, of separation, of discovery. Humans wander through the landscapes of illusion, shaped by culture, rules, and inherited beliefs, often mistaking ritual, obedience, and identity for truth. Christianity, like other organized systems, tells what to believe, what to fear, and what to follow. Yet underneath the performance, behind the words and ceremonies, the whisper of awakening persists. It calls you inward, beyond temples of stone, beyond doctrine, beyond the expectation of others. The kingdom of God is within, always within, waiting to be recognized, experienced, and lived. Jesus, the second Adam, exemplifies the path back to conscious unity. His life is not merely a story of history, but a map of transformation. The crucifixion is not a transaction of divine punishment or cosmic accounting. It is the metaphorical death of the ego, the surrender of the self-bound illusions, the dissolution of fear and attachment. Burial symbolizes the descent into the inner psyche, into shadow, confusion, and confrontation with the unacknowledged self. Resurrection is the awakening, the return to conscious unity, the living embodiment of divine awareness and form. Salvation, therefore, is not bought or inherited. It is lived, chosen, realized. To be born again is not to repeat a ritual, to take a label, or to follow a doctrine. It is the conscious second birth into awareness. First, there is the physical birth, Adam, newborn, innocent, unconscious unity. Then, through the stages of Eve, serpent, and human experience in the world, the mind awakens, ego forms, and duality is perceived. Finally, in the Christ stage, you choose to awaken, to release illusion, to live from the divine awareness within. The journey completes itself. Innocence flows into awareness, awareness confronts ego, and ego dissolves back into conscious unity. Being born again is therefore an inner revolution, a personal responsibility, a deliberate turn toward light and presence. Prayer, when understood through this lens, transforms entirely. It is not a conversation with a distant God, not a plea or a request, not an attempt to convince heaven to act. Prayer is aligning with the divine presence within, returning consciousness to itself, dissolving separation, letting awareness remember its own source. Enter stillness, dissolve the ego, and listen. Prayer becomes union, not communication, presence, not persuasion. When Jesus instructed to pray in secret, to avoid many words, he was pointing to the inner chamber of consciousness, the place where silence meets awareness and the infinite recognizes itself. Asking is replaced with aligning. Speaking is replaced with listening. Begging is replaced with being. Heaven and hell, judgment and reward, are not places outside, not punishments to be feared, not prizes to be earned. They are states of consciousness. Heaven is unity, presence, love, and awareness, fully recognized. Hell is separation, fear, attachment, and unconsciousness. Judgment Day is the moment of awakening, the instant when the mind perceives its own condition and chooses alignment with truth or indulgence in illusion. The metaphors are not threats, but reflections, mirrors of the inner landscape, urging consciousness to awaken. Religion, when it becomes rigid, commodified, or performative, clouds this vision. Loud prayers, public devotion, and strict adherence to rules can give the illusion of holiness while the heart remains asleep. Fear and hierarchy can mask the freedom Jesus taught, and the institutions built to contain or control human experience may mirror the patterns of the past. Yet the essence of Christ's teaching is not in structures, not in obedience, not in belief. It is in awakening, in awareness, in living from the truth within. Life itself becomes the classroom, the altar, the temple. Every choice, every interaction, every thought becomes a field of practice. Compassion emerges naturally when ego softens. Forgiveness flows effortlessly when awareness sees the interconnectedness of all things. Fear loses its grip when the illusion of separation is recognized. And love, unconditional, boundless, and luminous, becomes the default state, the natural expression of consciousness, fully awake. Your journey is mapped by the metaphors of Adam, Eve, the serpent, and Christ. Every newborn experiences Eden. Every child discovers duality. Every person wrestles with ego, illusion, and the world of form. And every human has the opportunity, the invitation, the responsibility to awaken, to die to the old self, to rise into conscious unity, to embody the divine within. The second coming of Christ is not a future event in the sky. It is a present awakening within you, a return to the unity and awareness you were born into and have always carried. Every act of awareness, every moment of presence is a resurrection. Every inner transformation is a prayer, a rebirth, a return. To live fully from this perspective is to live the truth directly. The kingdom is not somewhere else. It is you. The path is personal, deliberate, and continuous. The myths, the symbols, the stories, the rituals, they are all signposts, all mirrors, all guides pointing to the reality that is already here, already within, waiting for recognition. You were born in innocence. You wandered into duality. You discovered separation, desire, fear, and ego. Now you are called to awaken, to dissolve illusion, to embody love, and to recognize that all along you were never expelled from Eden. You only forgot the presence that has always been within. The journey of consciousness is complete when awareness recognizes itself. When the drop remembers it is the ocean. When the individual becomes one with the unity that is eternal, boundless, and fully awake.